Rabotai, good morning to everyone. We started speaking yesterday in Siman Nun Bet and Halach Aleph. If a person comes late to the synagogue, that he has to say Baruch Shamar, Ashrei, the third Hallelujah, the fifth Hallelujah, and then we said Ishtabach in order to be able to catch up with the congregation. Says the Mishnah Berurah in Sivkat and Aleph, Aval Lechatchila, he says, however, initially or ideally, Ra'ui lavo lebeit haKnesset b'haskama. It is proper for a person to come to the synagogue early in the morning. Kedei shelo yistarech ledaleg, in order for you not to have to skip. I know Rabotai now it's a little bit harder, but those of you people that go to sleep 10 o'clock, 10:30, it's easier. If you go to sleep 1 o'clock, it's a little bit harder. Kedei sheyuchal itpalel keseder velo bidiluk, in order for you to be able in order for you to be able to pray in order and not in skipping any prayer. Why? Because the Magid, the angel that would learn with the Beit Yosef, he warned him that he should always come to the Beit HaKnesset early in the morning. Why is it so important to come early in the morning? To give yourself enough time to be able to daven from the beginning until the end? Because he says, we have pipelines, it's called Tinerot, channels, that come from heaven down to us. If a person, he says, is able to daven in a orderly fashion correctly, you should know your tzimmerot are well. They're coming directly to you. Your blessing, your shefa, comes down to you. However, he says. But if a person goes ahead and he does just the opposite, Rabotai, he says, Ki haoseken mehafech hatzimmerot. But one who does the opposite, Rabotai, what's going to end up happening? You're going to chas v'shalom, Rabotai, reverse the channels of the blessings. So that's why the Magid warned the Beit Yosef that when he comes to the Beit Knesset early in the morning, in order for him to be able to pray in order and not skipping. If chas v'shalom you do it, you understand maybe why in the mornings it's very hard to get, going, meaning financially or something like that. It is very important to try to down from the beginning till the end. Okay. Rabotai, today's Ve'elam Michshol is going to speak about when a person enters into somebody's house during the meal. What should the balabai do? What should the owner of the house do? And what should the oreich do? But then we're going to see a story with Abba Chilkiah, which is a great Musar lesson for every single person. Because today you have what we call Ron and Mayesh Ayom. Today a lot of people are naive. Rabotai, I'm going to read for you a story over here, what it means not to trust anyone. Rabotai, it's not a joke. Until you don't know the people, until you don't do your research, don't think just because somebody looks religious, I can trust him. Many people have been destroyed because of that. It's not chassid, I'm not speaking bad about religious people. Just people sometimes use it as a cover up, as a mask, to be able to lure other people into doing whatever they want. He says over here, when a person enters into his friend's house at the time when he's having a meal, it's proper and it is correct, from the ethical standpoint, that the Balabait, you should tell him, come, sit down with me. No, don't tell him, wait for me over there, I'm going to come right now. If you're eating, give him, offer him something also to eat. He says, nevertheless, but if they offer you to eat or to drink, the guest himself, he should feel a little bit embarrassed. It's derech eretz on his end. No, it's okay. It's okay. Okay. After the third time, you can go. However, it says, the Sefer Ve'elam Michshol, Ulam kol zeh davka ksheyesh lo maspik ochel letzorcho uletzorch bnei beito. When are we going to tell you that it is derech eretz to invite another person to your meal? The guest that just walked in, you should invite him, not let him sit over there in the living room somewhere. That's specifically if you have enough food for yourself and for your household. Aval in balabait yodei she'en lo maspik ochel kedei letet gam lo oreach. What happens, the owner of the house knows he doesn't have enough food to also give to the guest. You do not need to offer the guest that he should eat with you. How are you going to give it to him? You barely have for yourself. How are you going to give it to him? You know, Baruch Hashem, B'lein Hara. Nobody should ever know of this. I was one time in Monsey, in a very big Talmud Chacham's house on Shabbat. Rabota, you don't, B'lein Hara, I don't know. I don't want to say negative. You guys should never know of this, but people really struggle in life. People really struggle in life. Rabotai, we went, they were giving us salads, usually how do you have salads? Nice big plate, no? That this little place, like little plate. And they would have to pass it around to every single person because there was not enough. You understand? Like with the bare minimum, they try to get by and they try to even host people. People have to understand about that. You have to have your head on your shoulders when it comes to these things. Rabotai, I know of a person that when he goes to people's houses, if he invited for Shabbat, a lot of people, what do they bring? Kanak, yeah. I mean, that's how we do it today. There's Rabotai, I know of a person, whenever he goes to somebody's house for Shabbat, he always leaves them $500 to $1,000. His wife tells him all the time, what do you need it for? They invited you, because you don't know their financial situation. What do you think, the AC is free? You think the food is free? Everything costs money. You don't know their financial situation. He tries to help them out without them being embarrassed. Rabotai, listen to the story with Abu Chilkiah, where he did not invite the guest to his house. Now, just mind you, Rabotai, this Gemara is Masechet Tanit on page Chav Gimel Amud Bet. There was a drought, there was no rain. So if there's no rain, there's no food. If there's no food, you can't eat. If you can't eat, people die. He says over here, there was a story with Abu Chilkiah, Shebau Chachamim. Shamat Artur, lo chaverim shulcha. Chachamim. That's what they say, you shouldn't have a lot of friends in your house. Rabotai, you people think it's smart, bringing people into your house. It's not good. Rabotai, don't think it's so pashut. Yitzchak Takshiv, Chacham, you know what Chachamim? I'm talking about people in the Gemara that were able to revive the dead. He says, the Chachamim, the rabbis came to ask him that he should pray on the rain. But the rabbi was not home. Abu Chilkiah was not home. So what did they do? They went to the field in the place where he worked in order to find him. And they waited for him until he finished his job. Why do they have to wait for him, Artur? The rabbis have to wait for Abu Chilkiah to finish. Rabbi walks in, you got to stop your work. No. Mato Mergabi. Why didn't he stop? Huh? I understand, but he was bigger than them. But if you see it, Talmud Chachamim coming to you, maybe something happened. No. This is the problem with Yaakov John, where people don't understand what it means stealing from your owner, from your boss. This is a very big problem. A lot of people today, when they're working for somebody, either on the computer playing games, either on the phone doing other things, it's a very big problem. People steal from the boss, not even knowing. So they waited until he finished his job. After he finished his job, then they speak to him. Then they basically escorted him to his house. They went with him to his house. Rabotai, you should know, Rabotai, Abu Chilkiah would visit his wife from time to time. So what do you think his wife would do? How do you think his wife would greet him? Ronan, Jack, Yaakov. Yeah. How do you think his wife would greet him? When he walks into the house, she's on the couch, speaking to her friends, or watching who knows a movie or Netflix, and he walks in like he's the sabaka, in the house, dog, man. Why is you an animal? Rabotai, when the husband walks in, the wife has to get up. Once the husband walks in, the wife has to get up, the kids, everybody has to greet the father. All day he's out there working, give him some respect. A rabbi walks in, Gabi, who you believe, rabbi? What the rabbi? What did the rabbi feed you? Besides, the rabbi gives you blessings. But Rabotai is your husband. Abu Chilkiah's wife, you know what she did? Asher Tikatovi. She used to dress herself up when he used to come from work. Beautiful. Nika grandmother, babula. No, the Masay Tani says she would dress herself very beautiful. Why? So when he would come, the Chacham asked him a question. Why in the world does your wife dress up like that? So you know what she answered? So my husband's eyes should only be on me. You understand? Today we think once we get married, we don't have to work at ourselves. We don't have to work in our body. We can smell, we can look different, we can look disgusting. It's a very big problem. Rabotai, so when they came to his house, they saw his wife standing on the stairs, waiting for the husband. Then as he was approaching, she came down. So what do you think happened, Gabi? Now when they were about to go up, he told his wife, you go up first. Then I'll go up. And then the students, the Chacham, are going to go up. So the Chacham asked him, later on in the story, he says, I don't understand. You're not allowed to go, you're not allowed to walk behind the woman. How come you let your wife go up first, and then you, and then us? So he says, because I don't trust you. Abba Chilki said, because I don't, well, you don't trust the rabbis? You don't trust them? No, I don't trust you. No, he didn't trust them. Rabotai, this is what we're going to about to see. Look what he says when he continues. So they came already home. When they entered the house, he sat down to eat with his wife and two of his sons. But he didn't invite the Chachamim to eat with him. They were there. He didn't invite them. Why? Then they asked him, the Chachamim asked him, what was the reason that the master entered into the house, meaning you, Abba Chilkiah? Why didn't you invite us also? He said to them, since I don't recognize you, since I don't know who you guys are. Besides that, you guys look like rabbis. Very beautiful. I respect that. But since I don't know you, I will presume, or I will assume that you guys are Rishaim. That's why I did not let you come and enter in my house. Shamata Abba Chilkiah Amar to the Chachamim? Huh? No, it's respect but suspect. Huh? No, that's what it is. Rabotai, he said, Yesh lahachzik kol adam kirasha v'lo hichnachs etchem. He says you should hold every single person that you do not know, Rabotai. You should look at him as a rasha. Maybe he's out there to get you, which a lot of people, so they do. They're in it for themselves. That's why he did not bring them in. V'shuv sha'alahu, then I asked him again, Kishayashav mar lecho madu lo amar lanu, why don't you tell us, to taste something? You see, we were with you the whole day. He said, I didn't have enough food for everybody. It is not befitting to invite other people when you don't have enough food. Why? Because that's called that you're stealing somebody else's mind, meaning you're creating a false impression. You're misleading somebody. Arabayjan Bavayit, you don't want the guy to come. So what do? You send him an invitation. I got like 50 invitations. Nobody wants to call today. What was this? My wife says, are we going? Why am I going to go? I have nothing, if it's a son, maybe. What am I going to go do? Take away from my Lord in Torah. So what do? When people don't want you, you know why they don't want me? I don't care if they want me or not. You know why they don't want me? Because my first question is the party mixed or not? That's my first question. That's where everything stops. So what do? They hit you up with a text. So tomorrow after you tell them, your daughter had a wedding or your son had a wedding, I invited you, but you never answered. That's how you invite people. Rabotai, that's how you invite people to call them like a human being. By doing so, by sending this kind of you're misleading someone. That's called Gonev Data Briot. You're not allowed to do it. Same thing where Abba Chilkiah said, if I was going to invite you and I don't have food to give you, and I don't want you over here, I would have been showing you a false impression of myself, which I really am not. So he says, I did not invite you. Rabotai, listen to the next few pieces. His brother in the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch in Siman Membet in Ot Yud Chet. Is a person allowed to eat food? You go to somebody's house. You see the person does not have enough. You could see. Just because you have it doesn't mean everybody else has it. You go to a person's house, you see everything is to the minimal. You see it's one salad, one this, one Coke, one this, one this. Can you just continue taking without thinking to give to other people?
You eat it and you say, do you have more?
Right. Right. No, you're right. You eat, you have more. Pay attention. Rabotai, listen what he writes. Asur lechol misuda she'ena maspeket lebalach. It is forbidden for a person to eat from a meal that it is not enough for the owners, for the family members. Shezeu avak gezel. This is like the dust of gezel, residue of thievery, like you stealing from him. Af api shebalabait mazmino lechol imo. Even though the balabait invites you to eat, what is he supposed to do? What can he do? Nevertheless, he says, it is avak gezel. It is the residue of thievery. Vehu avon gadol. Would you ever think of that? It's a big sin to eat from people that they don't have. Umina devarim shekashe lashuv alehim. It's from one of the things that the Rambam brings down that it is very hard to do tshuva from them because you think you did nothing wrong. Rabotai, because our minds are not about how can I help the other person. Our minds is how can I help myself. He says if you look into the seven Rav Chaim Hagon Rav Chaim Palaji, he says over there, anybody who benefits from a meal that is not enough for the owners of the house, he's going to go to Gehenna, he's not going to come up. For that same reason. Because he thinks he did nothing wrong. Rabotai, whenever we go to people's houses, Rabotai, you have an eye for a reason. Pay attention. See, do they have enough? Do they not have enough? Besides they invited you. Artur, they invite you to the house, correct? Not you, right? I don't want. They invite you to the house, so they have, they have whiskey, correct? So you smart, what do? You start pouring yourself. All they have is one bottle. And you start pouring yourself, and you drinking. This is a problem, Rabotai. A person has to have a boundary to how much he can take. Even when it comes to food. You see there's 3-4 pieces of, meat, chicken on the table. You see this one took this. Don't take for yourself 2 or 3. No, you saw? 50 people in the synagogue. I'll give you one example. 50 people in the synagogue, 1 platter. Or sometimes 2 platters. Yes, Yitzchak. Okay, so if you count 50 people, you think it's going to be enough for 2 people? No, it's not. What do? They make Har Sinai, right? They take all the sushi. Oh, one second, but you have other people also. No, all jokes aside. You have other people also, Rabotai. Huh? What'd you say?
All the plate of sushi, all the Rabbi, is it kosher?
Yeah. Rabotai, there's one Talmid Chacham, he doesn't learn in the house of Torah no more. I don't know if he's going to give me permission to say his name. So one time I was learning with him, very humongous, very big Talmid Chacham, and I asked him one time, I said, whatever, when there's Kola lunch, I told him, again, I'm not here, but I told him, why come you never take from Kola lunch? When you come from Mincha, that's where they have lunch, after Mincha. You know what he told me? It's unbelievable, he says. I'm going to wait for everybody else first to take, make sure everybody else has, then if Hashem wants me to eat, I'll go and I'll eat. Until then, I'm going to be learning Torah. Huh? Yeah, fellow? The seichel. Making sure that the other people have. Rabotai. B'ezrat Hashem, may we be careful in this halachot. Baruch Adonai L'olam.